Today we got a 2012 Kia Sorento, right? So this is a 2.2 diesel engine, you know, basically going into limp mode. So let's see if we could figure out what's the problem. Okay, so this customer reached out to me after seeing some of my videos on YouTube, which is really cool, right? He was impressed on the diagnostic procedure and process that I do on all the vehicles that come through the shop, right? So, I mean, you see how far the channel is reaching, which is real cool, right? He mentioned that the vehicle goes into limp mode, right? And it shuts off when the gauge is half mark, right? So, I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but he said once you fill the tank back up, the car runs until it shuts off again. So, you got to keep it topped up, basically, right? It starts again and runs, but that's about it, right? He pushes a scan tool. Let me see. He pushes a scan tool to see if he could diagnose it for himself, because, you know, he probably took it to other shops and they wasn't able to figure it out. So that's here we at, right? He mentioned that he got two codes that stood out to him, which is the P0087 code and the P1186, which is the low fuel rail system pressure too low, and another one is the, I think it's like the minimum pressure or something like that, right? That's the 1186 code. Right, so basically we're going after fuel at first, right? But as I said, man, from all my videos, you know, I like to do my inspection first. You know, I'm going to go on the hood, right? I took the liberty of opening the bonnet, and you know, he having issues with the actuators, so I'm going to put something to prop it up. And yeah, so we're going to go after fuel, right? And it's also hard starting, so we got to see what's that about, right? So let's go on the hood. Right, I was able to do some, you know, visual checks. Right, this vehicle is known for having injector problems and also high pressure pump problems. Turbo give problems after a while. ECU not so much, right? But as I said, let's do some checks, you know, and see exactly what's going on before we proceed, so we can let the customer know, right? Also, oh yeah, it's like to leak a lot down by the intercooler. Because that's the lowest point, so all the oil gathers right there and gets pulled into the turbo, right? So let me open this up and let's take a look at the air filter and see the condition of it, right? Because from the air filter you can tell exactly what kind of maintenance is being done on this vehicle and if you have any issue. Okay, so this is the condition of the filter. It is really filthy. So I mean, customer, if you're listening, you can't allow your filter to reach in this condition. You gotta stay up on your maintenance. Diesel is very expensive to maintain, but you know, it works really good once you have it in a good condition. I'm not seeing, what is this? Water. It's water. Is it coolant or water? It looked like it's water. So you have water in this radiator, which needs topping up. So I gotta make sure I have coolant or water in there. Okay, I'm gonna leave this out because he's not doing anything. Alright, so we're gonna test run this vehicle. Okay, so let's put everything back together, right, and put the scan tool on the vehicle. Right, I just got my hands on this Launch C-Reader Elite version 2, right? It was sent to me by the guys in King Bowling. Right, so this is the Hyundai and Kia version, right? I haven't used this on any vehicle as yet, so basically this is live unboxing right here. All I did, open it up and do all the, you know, registration thing. But yeah, so it's a OBD2 scan tool, right? You got graphing reports. It's gonna read code, clear codes, you know. What else it have, right? We also have the Toyota and I believe the GM, right, model that's out there as well, right? So this is for DIYs. I mean, if you have a repair shop and you looking for, you know, a reasonable scan tool that is very strong in Kia and Hyundai, I recommend that you get your hands on this, right? So let's put it on this vehicle and see what it does, right? So as usual, it comes with instructions, right, which we don't read from or you're going to get in trouble. We got to use the manual, right? I'm going to boot it up and let's see if we can see some PIDs, right? remember that we're going to go after fuel because this vehicle is going into limp mode. So I'm going to power it up. It did come with a little battery power, so we should be able to get, you know, something going, right? It's not Bluetooth. You gotta use the cable, right? So you just gotta be careful when you put it in that you don't bend the pins. I'm trying to do it with one hand, right? So it says the launch model, right? You have the Toyota version, you have the GM version. I'm not sure if you have any others like Nissan and stuff like that, but it do work for other vehicles, right? But it's very strong when it comes to Kia and Hyundai, right? Yeah, so it have an automatic scan, VIN scan. So once you plug it in, it starts, you know, read and look for the VIN, which is real cool because for some reason Hyundai and Kia, it sucks when it comes to the scan tool, you know, punching in the auto VIN scan thing. You gotta always go and put in the chassis number in order to get the correct model, right? So let me see if it, no, it doesn't have it, so it still doesn't work. So I gotta put in the, let's put in the chassis number so we can get the correct information of this vehicle. Okay, let's check the mileage on this. So we got 134,000, 35,000 kilometers. So we're gonna look for Kia Korea, right? So there's a difference between Kia Korea and Kia America and stuff like that. So let's press OK. The battery life is low, right? I didn't charge it up. So let's see if we can pull up the VIN number again, or if I gotta, oh, it does. Let's see. I'm gonna scan for VIN. Yep, fail. So I gotta input the VIN again. Let me get that done. I mean, all scan tools does the same thing for Kia and Hyundai. Alright, so this is Sorento XM, right? 2012 2.2 TCR. Okay, put it in. Let's do a full health report and see what's next, man. I mean, it's kind of hot here, so let me wind down the window, right? And we're gonna take this vehicle for a run before we do anything, right? And let's see how the graphing is on this scan tool. So I mean, perfect timing, man. I just got that, and I just got the scan tool, and we got a broken Kia, right? It is a Kia. Let's see how fast it goes at 67%. I mean, it's not gonna be like the, you know, all the top launch and stuff like that, but I mean, it's supposed to be able to function, you know, relatively well, because I mean, on any day it is a launch, right? So got a mosquito in here, so I'm just trying to wind down the glass. All right, so we got one fault code, right? Let's see what that fault code is. Matter of fact, let's do a fault report. So we got a P1186, which is what the customer basically said. I'm not sure if he cleared the code or something like that, but let's make a report, right? If we okay, so we got the report set up just like, you know, average launch. So we're going to share it. Probably gotta share it to my email. Okay, so let's put in the email, I guess, and we're gonna send it off to my email address. All right, so yeah, so it basically gets sent off via the email, which is good, man. That's one thing I don't like about some other brands, where you have to put it in cloud, and where this one, I'd rather use Bluetooth it to me or just send via email. I mean, that's simple. Okay, we got a battery icon right there at 12.8, which is good. All right, so let's go into engine and let's see if we can get some graph and things done. What is this? Nothing. I want to go into, how do you go in the engine? Oh, we got some issues on the airbag too, but we didn't come for that. How do you go into this? Search. Nope. I'm not sure how you go into this. When you go in the report, right, you're supposed to be able to probably go into this. No, I'm not gonna exit. How do you go into the system? We went into report, which is this one. All right, let's come out, and I would like to go into the, oh, did I go in? So basically you got a normal, which is a TCM, ABS, and all that stuff like that, and the ones with the fault is on this side. All right, so good, bad. All right, so why I'm not being able to go into the system? Do I have to come out? Oh, okay, I was doing crap. So you gotta come out of the report and go into the subsections. I mean, duh. We don't have no special function things and actuation things going on here. Why is that? Probably you gotta go back to the home screen, right? But let's read data stream. Oh, before we do that, let's see our fault codes. Okay, you got a present. So if you do a freeze frame, no, let's do code search. So once you have internet, you can pull this up, you know, Google, right? And we could take a read, you know, and figure out what that is. Or we could come out and let's go and read data stream. I want to see the graph in. Let's look for fuel. We're at 79 PIDs. I'm going to go and look for the fuel set point. And let's look for the maximum rail pressure lads. Let's press OK. Right, it's in HPA, right? So what you gotta do is just go over, you know, by 1 decimal point. So that's 784 kilopascals, right? Can I change the units? Can I probably gotta go in the settings to change the units, but I mean, I already know what it is, right? So let's press combine. Let's choose these two. Let's press OK. So we have a graph, right? So let's start the vehicle. So you hear the customer complaint where the vehicle has a hard start, right? Let's step on the X. All right. So what you gotta look for, you gotta make sure. Let me just switch off so you can hear me. You gotta make sure those two lines, which is the set point and the fuel maximum rail pressure, they gotta sit right on top of each other. They can't drop off, right? So does that show that it's working? Can you pause this? No, you can't. Can you pause it? No. I would like to blow it up. No, you can't. Right, so that's it. I mean, so you looking for basically the yellow line, right, to be right on top of the blue line and stay there, right? But for some reason I'm not able to pause it. I don't like that. You're supposed to be able to pause this. So what that's letting me know is, like, basically think about it as your actual and your desire, right? You want that to basically mimic each other. At first you will see that the actual is going to go past the desire because you're going to crank the vehicle and, you know, it's going to dump fuel at first, and then they're going to sell it off after a while once the pump, high pressure pump, start to do his job, right? But he'll build pressure because he got to open injectors. So that's why you see that spike at first on the real pressure, right? And the set point will just, you know, do what he does, but they got to be close or, you know, right on top of each other. So let's do it again. Right, it's staying on top, is it? Let's step on the X. Right, so let's take this vehicle for a run and see exactly what's going on. Right, so far the tool is a good tool. It's just, I would like, you know, be able to press pause and, you know, watch and see what's going on, because most of the time I'm going to be driving and I would like to go back and look at my data, and I'm not able to do that with this scan tool. Can I take a picture? I'm not sure. So let's take this vehicle for little drive to see exactly what's going on and what the customer complaint is. Okay, so let me just move the keys. Let's step on next. Alright, so it's moving fairly okay. Okay, so what's the customer complaint? The vehicle is running. Yeah, I just got a puff of black smoke coming out the exhaust when I stepped on the X real hard. Right, customer did mention that. Probably got some injector problems too. Alright, so let's see what's going on. I mean, the vehicle is accelerating, so how come it's complaining about fuel? Alright, so let's see if we could get this vehicle to go into limp mode, and once it is, I'll pick my camera back up. My phone died. Okay, so I just got the problem to happen, right? The fuel pressure is going all the way up to, like, let's say 750,000 HP, and I'm not going past 40 kilometers, right? So let's see. I'm stepping all the way down on the gas pedal. You hear the vehicle is just not going right at all. I'm at 30 kilometers and I'm reaching as high as, let's say, 750,000 HP, which is like nothing, right? It is actually, to be honest, I'm getting fuel pressure and I'm not going anywhere at all. So it's like the vehicle is definitely suffering or stifling for something, right? So I'm gonna inform the customer that we gotta take a look at that turbo to see if the turbo has any faults, right? But also we gotta take a look at the fuel pressure. So let me put a gauge on the fuel pump and, you know, take a look and see what's going on. So I made it back to the shop, right? So I'm gonna probably attack the low side pressure pump first because it's supposed to be easy to get to. It's on the rear back seat, so we could just get under the seat and get to the access cover where we can put a gauge on and see exactly what's going on, right? And then, you know, we'll figure out what's good. But for now, it definitely is falling on its face. Under here is real filthy. But so what I did, I got this access plate off, right? And I got my fuel gauge hooked up, right? So right now it's reading 0 psi. And I did have access to the wiring diagram for this. This blue and this black wire is coming straight from the pump, right? I also, you know, make sure that it have two fuses as, you know, activate this pump, right? That's, and also a relay, right? Those are intact because the vehicle is running and it does start, you know, and runs, but it just, you know, falls on its face. So I'm gonna put the key on and let's see what's going on with this fuel pump. Right, so when you put the key on, that fuel pump supposed to prime at least, and I'm not getting anything. It's saying 0. So you're hearing the fuel pump moving, but it's not, basically 0 psi. So let's start the vehicle up, and you hear that hard start, and I'm getting like 32 psi, which is really low. It's building to 35. You see it flickering back and forth. That's because the injector is using up in front, but still it's really low. So let's switch off, and once you start the vehicle up again, you get the hard start because it gotta prime itself. So I'm going after that low pressure pump, right? So let's take that low pressure pump out and see the condition, what's going on. So it's not the high pressure pump. The low pressure pump feeds the high pressure pump, and if he's not doing his job, then the high pressure pump can't work. And the fuel rear pressure is, you know, complaining that he's not seeing the adequate pressure that he needs to operate. That sucks. I mean, that's really cool because at least it's the low side, not the high side, because the high pressure pump is more costly. So let me remove that pump. I mean, it's not even holding nothing at all. I'm switching off and it drops right off. So let's pull that pump and see exactly what's going on.